This week on the Financial Freeman podcast, we will reveal whether Financial Freeman really knows his stuff. Yes, that's right. We will look back on 2021's predictions and see how well we did.
That was a whole year ago.
A whole year. Wow. 1 year we've been doing this. So
Time flies. Wow.
we're still here, which is something, with our 10 viewers. So thanks very much for those that are still sticking by us. And welcome to anyone who's joining us.
We should have a party popper. 1 year.
Yeah, celebrations.
Anniversary.
Oh, we should. So let's move on. We've got 8 predictions that I made roughly this time. Oh, there you go. You got the balloons. Real celebration. Let's find out.
On Spotify, I've just blown up a balloon.
How do you think I did?
Woo!
Do you think I did well or not well or?
Your predictions?
Yeah.
I reckon you got half right and half wrong.
You know me well, because I'd probably be like bragging if I got all of them, and there'd be more of a celebratory
You
tone.
should have actually read your predictions live on the video and then had a genuine reaction.
Right. Well, I kind of half remembered them anyway, so. Okay. But I think I got the important ones right.
So he's right 50% of the time.
Slightly
so
more. Well, I fixed it, so I've just about won. But let's reveal them, right? And you're going to say whether each one, whether you think I'm right or not.
I'll be the judge of what's important.
Okay. So residential property prices to keep going higher, 5% plus. Okay.
Ka-ching!
Yeah. Now, but just, I mean, it is just, we don't just want to do tick and cross, because the show will be over in about four minutes. No, I just want to set the context of why this was quite a good prediction, really, because at the time there was still a lot of experts that were saying property crash. The most actually I heard was someone saying it was going to go at 4%, and that was kind of seen as really outlandish. But I was really bullish with this and saying...
You should have got in contact with newspapers, really.
It's quite the prediction, though, because, as I said, everyone was saying it was going to fall. So to say it was going to go at least 5% and higher was not bad, because it's gone up, and it depends which report you look at. There's for some reason, Nationwide and Halifax and Home Track...
Won't they be hard to find now?
Well, they all have different answers, and also they don't all have sort of December... or even November, actually, results in the year on year. Anyway, we are roughly about somewhere between 9 and 10% growth. So it's pretty spectacular. This time last year was still lockdown. There was still a lot of panic. Yes, there'd been a bit of a price increase, but a lot of people were saying, yeah, stamp duty, and as soon as stamp duty ends, then it's going to crash. But you remember the stamp duty got extended, which is something I predicted. And so all in all... Ching! It's looking pretty good as to what that we said prices
not good if you're looking to buy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just from a pure prediction point of view, that's, as you say, cha-ching, 1 out of 1. And tune in next time to see what we say about predictions for prices in the 2022 predictions. Okay, so number 2, rents to stay fairly static.
No,
what's happened?
They've gone up.
Everything's
gone up.
So my prediction...
Why couldn't you predict that?
So my prediction at the time was that...
I thought
everything was going up, right, generally, but I didn't think it would make its way to rents yet, because I just thought that might lag, as in that might come later on. I guess it would still... I thought it would all end up being in things like copper, which is obviously what we discussed sort of at the start. And it would take longer for it to kind of hit the consumer, I guess.
Common man.
And that was the bit that was wrong. Actually, it's come to sort of the forefront of everyone's minds even sooner than expected. So I thought it would go into asset prices, which is why we keep banging on about this. But I didn't think it might suddenly go to the bottom line, even though we're doling out money to everyone. But it has. And rent is basically the follow-up from that, and we probably need a whole podcast on this, but essentially if there's more money swirling around, wages going up, then eventually rent will follow. But it has happened a lot sooner. Now, some of that is to do with London. So rents on average have gone up about 7.5%. London is higher than that, and that is because London crashed a lot more than that. So at the time of the pandemic...
London what crashed?
London rents crashed. So at the time of the pandemic, a lot of...
Because no one wanted to live there.
No one wanted to live. That was one reason. Actually, there was a lot more stock. So there was a lot of Airbnb stock that became more normal rental stock, because obviously no one was travelling to London. So a lot of those the London Airbnb rentals, they all became sort of normal buy-to-let rentals, and that led to the fact that there was a lot more supply and obviously a lot less demand, and therefore prices went down. So it is a bit skewed. London's rents have gone up about 10% in the year, but even overall, we're still looking at about 7%. So big cross, and not very good if you are a renter. So number 3, stock markets to go up fairly significantly in the year.
No, they didn't.
No, they did.
Oh, yes.
Well, they went up about, so the FTSE went up about 13%, FTSE 100, that's the top 100 UK companies. The worldwide index, which basically reports sort of the top sort of worldwide stocks, went up about 17%. So, yes, a big tick.
That's a big rise.
It's a big rise for sort
What's
of
an average yearly rise?
I don't. Well, 9% was the S&P 500. That's the top 500 American companies. Has gone up roughly 9% for about over 100 years. So higher than that, and that was really simple, really, because again, it's just inflation, more money traveling around the system. So it was going to end up in assets. So the next one. Gold, silver, and all of the metals to go up. And I said gold to $2,500 and silver to $35. What do you reckon?
They all went up, but not to your numbers.
They went down. Oh. And I don't really know why. There's different explanations. Basically, it usually follows, and we've done a whole podcast on this, so go back and revisit it. But if inflation's going up, usually gold goes up as well, and that's really only because it's the value of the dollar is going down, and therefore gold isn't technically going up, it's just going up versus the dollar, which is what you buy it in. So we did a whole episode on this, so go back to that. But it didn't follow that way, and gold's actually gone down, I think, about 10%. People are saying because a lot of money's gone into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's seen as a similar kind of inflation hedge, and therefore that's where the money has gone. I don't know.
No one knows.
No, I think a lot of it's still manipulated by the banks, although why they don't manipulate, I don't understand, basically. And it will go up, and I think it's just about being patient. But it hasn't, and therefore it's a big cross. So what's the scores on the doors?
2-2.
2-2. It's exciting.
You've already given away the result, Gary.
Well, we're going to tweak it, and you're probably going to be the judge of one of them, which is going to decide it. So the dollar to keep going down as more and more stimulus comes in. Okay, so I said the value of the dollar will go down. Now, this was also wrong. I was right in that there was so much more stimulus that's been going in. I also said that the Fed at the time wouldn't do anything, as in they wouldn't raise interest rates, and that's also proven to be correct. But actually, the dollar has gone up in value, certainly against other currencies. I don't really know why. Again, I've read a few different articles. A lot of them have said basically because there's been panic in other countries as well, and other economies have struggled even more. For example, Turkey, their inflation rates are absolutely bonkers. So
bonkers.
It's been the case of that. It's not necessarily that American economies and the dollar's so fantastic. It's just a bit better than possibly others. And it's still seen as a bit of a scary time, and therefore people are a bit like, right, I'm going to cling on to my dollar, which is still the number one currency in the world. So it's all very complex. I'm never going to make a dollar prediction ever again, because I kind of thought I knew what I was talking about, but on that front, maybe not. And I think it's there's lots of
lesson learned.
I've
never made a dollar prediction. I was born a genius.
That was the first dollar prediction I ever made.
Right.
And last, because as I said, I looked into these articles, and they all, even after the event, usually after the event, everyone's really smug. So you'll see property stuff now, and they're all like, oh yeah, it was going to go up, even though they said it wasn't. Here, they were still they're still scratching their heads. So, we're 3-2 down. Next one, we're going to make it 3-3. I said peak COVID testing is going to remain the norm throughout the year.
You've been saying that all along.
I've been saying that all along. So even when they said basically that we'll be out of lockdown, I think it was last year, they said it fairly soon and it'll be all over. It's not. and I said it wouldn't, and I said
I get
testing's
very
only.
sad about this because there's a lot of plastic waste.
There's a lot of plastic waste. I read that yesterday. Did you read
you?
that? Yeah.
No, I've been
it's really
thinking all along.
Yeah, no, it's actually happening.
Even from like the disposable masks.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything.
what it's from. Disposable masks, and what's the other thing?
Well, all the PCRs are plastic. Like
Yeah, but this is all in the
tubes
river. It was all in the. There's been washed up onto a sea somewhere. The masks and something
and-
else.
Where it all goes.
Oh, the gloves,
Aprons.
So very bad, and obviously bad for lots of people that are suffering through all of this and are in isolation at the moment. But it's still there, and well, we'll see if I predict whether it's still going to be there at the end of next year or not. In next week's predictions, but
Whoa!
there we are. So it's 3-3, and it couldn't be any more exciting.
Let's cool myself down.
Two to go. Okay, all right. Bitcoin.
You only made 8, not 10.
Well, I did make 10. We kind of scrubbed out to it we did a midterm review. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
One of them I was already proved right, and one of them I think I was proved wrong already.
So still 50%.
Still 50%.
I
think really, if we just kept to property, actually even then it wouldn't be full marks because I got the rent wrong. But
also, you're just a 50.
Just a 50 guy, yeah. Which actually is a lot better than most experts do. Savills, I've just looked back on their history. They get it wrong every single year in terms of price predictions. So
genius.
They get paid. They get paid a lot for that, and I get paid a bean. So there you go. Maybe we'll get more followers if I got all our predictions right. Who knows? So Bitcoin to go below $18,000 and then back to $30,000.
That was wrong.
And
Why would you state certain numbers? You just put yourself in.
Because I wanted to be exact, and I think the actual premise. And this is why I'm half giving myself a point, right, is that I did actually get it right. This sort of happened. It didn't go down as far as that. It went down to 28,000. So when I made this prediction, it was $50,000, okay? So I went a bit far, and it did go down to 28,000, so it almost halved. And then it did shoot back up again to wherever we are now, which is, I think, about that again, about $50,000.
Well, then you should have put all our money in.
When it crashed, no, I thought it was going lower. That was the prediction. So I thought it was going to go down to 18,000, or in and around that. Well, it didn't, and it recovered, I guess, sooner than I thought it would. So I got it right, really. I just didn't get the numbers quite right.
Well, if you're going to put numbers there, then we're going to judge you on the numbers.
Well, maybe it's a draw.
How can you get it right if you got it so wrong that you didn't invest in it and you could have doubled your money?
Yeah, I didn't lose any money. I got the premise right that there would be a correction.
I didn't lose any money.
It just wasn't quite the same correction it wasn't quite as big as some of the others. So I think it was about 50% correction in the end from its peak. And in previous crashes, it's gone I think by 80%, and that's kind of what I was working on. So. Maybe it's become less volatile.
I don't want to give you a point.
Okay, we'll call it. If we call it a draw, then I sort of lose veto. Yeah, then I sort of lose overall.
Well, you're like all the other predictionists.
Yeah, so sort of tweaking.
You can actually. That could be a new title.
It's what like all the other predictionists.
What do they call predictionists?
I don't know.
Liars.
Or the lawyers' liars jokes for years. And no, prediction liars don't really go as well. But anyway, right, final one. This is definitely wrong. Tesla to go below 500 by the end of the year.
I think you should get
I'm never going to predict
minus points.
I think I'm not going to make any Tesla predictions again as well. I don't think because they keep proving me wrong. It's still kind of double that. And it's showing no signs of ever going down, so it's not a point, I'm afraid. And that was it. So I guess in a nutshell, it shows how difficult it is for anyone, even obviously our powers of predictions to get everything right.
So what are you listening to us for?
Listen to us to get a feel and try and work out for yourself really whether something's going to be right or wrong. Make your own decisions, and this is what we've said all along. That it's very, very difficult. So don't just listen to one person. Try and listen to both sides of the argument because that might help in your understanding. And Yeah. But do follow us
And
about
if you
property prices,
don't
because we've not been wrong about that yet. That's the key.
Yet. If you don't understand, don't feel bad, because nor does anyone else.
No, certainly not when it comes to the
That's
US
what
dollar.
you can
That's
take from
the
today.
that's the real outcome of this. Don't ever predict the US dollar price. Right. Do you want to do your spiel?
One more little
one more
party.
balloon.
Woo!
Yes.
Where's my paper?
Happy New Year and all that.
The content of this podcast is for general information purposes and not a recommendation to act. Please contact us or an independent financial advisor if you would like to discuss further at gary.financialfreeman@gmail.com.
Bye for now.
Bye.